Hello and welcome. It is January 21st, 2026, and 11 hours ago at 7:23 UTC, NASA's Deep Space Network antenna DSS-43 in CRA detected something from 3I Atlas that has no precedent in 4.6 million years of cometary observation. I'm talking about a structural breach. A cavity previously undetected opened within the nucleus of this object, and from that opening, instruments recorded an ejection signature unlike anything in our catalogs. Picture this: an object 187 million kilometers from Earth, supposedly a comet composed of ice and dust, exhibiting containment failure mechanics. That terminology, containment failure, that's not commentary vocabulary. That's engineering language. Think about that for a moment. Within 90 minutes of the breach, 3 independent observatories detected particulate emissions with spectroscopic signatures that don't match any known commentary. Outgassing profile: NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, ESA's Gaia spacecraft, and the ELMA ray in Chile. 3 sources, different instruments, identical conclusion: something emerged. The probability of a natural void formation at this distance from the Sun, in this thermal regime, with this ejection velocity profile, 0.09%. That's 1 in 1. 111 events across all documented cometary behavior since systematic observation began in 1801. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office, an office that typically monitors impact threats, issued an internal advisory at 1435 UTC, not a public alert, an internal memo that alone tells you this isn't routine. What fascinates me about this data is not just the breach itself, it's what emerged. Because when you examine a spectroscopy from JWST's NISPEC instrument, the molecular composition of the ejected material includes compounds with absorption features at wavelengths that require shielded formation environments, shielded from stellar radiation inside a common nucleus. Right now, as I'm speaking, that material is expanding into interplanetary space at 2.44 kilometers s, faster than any documented cometary dust ejection by a factor of 3.7, and the shape of the cavity revealed through radio occultation measurements from AMA exhibits geometric regularity, not fractalized structures, not random sublimation pockets. Regularity. Let that sink in. Before we analyze what opened, let's establish what 3I Atlas is and why this event is historically unprecedented. Sani Atlas was first detected on September 2, 2024 by the Atlas Survey System in Hawaii. The 3 designation means third confirmed interstellar object after 1 Oumuamua in 2017, in iOS in 2019. This is only the 3rd visitor from beyond our solar system ever documented. Initial trajectory analysis by NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies confirmed hyperbolic excess velocity of 34.7 kilometers s. Translation: this object is gravitationally unbound to the Sun. It's passing through a cosmic traveler. But unlike Oumuamua's rocky composition and Borisov's classical cometary behavior, San Idas immediately presented anomalies. Anomaly 1 appeared on September 18, 2024. Hubble's Wide Field Camera 3 detected an anti-tail, a forward-facing ejection plume extending 780,000 kilometers ahead of the nucleus. Standard cometary tails point away from the Sun due to solar radiation pressure, and this pointed toward the Sun against the radiation gradient. The physics doesn't work, not with passive dust particles. Anomaly. 2. October 3, 2024, ESA's Gaia spacecraft measured 3 Iotals' rotation period at 47.3 hours, with axial stability of 0.02. 02 degree, that's gyroscopic precision. Over 12,000 catalog comets exhibit chaotic tumbling due to asymmetric outgassing. This object rotates like a manufactured rotor. Anomaly. 3. November 12, 2024. ALMA detected nitrogen-bearing organic molecules, specifically acetone and acrylonitrile, in concentrations 18,000 times higher than Comet 67P Cura of Gerasimco, the most studied comet in history. Those molecules, they're prebiotic building blocks for amino acids, NASA confirmed this at 1908 UTC on November 12th. ESA's Mars Express independently verified the same molecular signatures using its Mars instrument during a calibration pass. Two space agencies, different instruments, same impossible chemistry. Think about the precision required here. By December 1st, 2025, astronomers were tracking 7 documented anomalies: unusual spectral lines, non-gravitational acceleration bursts, thermal emissions inconsistent with solar heating models, each one individually explainable with creative physics, all 7 in one object. The combined probability drops to 0.004%, but that was before the chamber opened. On December 18, 2025 at 1847 UTC, something changed. JWS mid-infrared instrument detected a thermal spike on 3 Atlas. Surface temperature increased by 63 Kelvin in 4.2 minutes. No solar flare, no impact, just sudden heat. Then at 1903 UTC, 16 minutes later, the Deep Space Network in CRA registered a radio frequency pulse at 84 GHz, duration 0.7 seconds, non-thermal emission coherent, not random noise. 12 hours after that pulse, the cavity appeared. Wait, let me clarify what cavity means in this context. We're not talking about a crater. We're not talking about a surface fracture. Radio occultation data from ALMA, where radio waves pass through the object's coma and reveal internal density structures, showed a void space measuring approximately 340 meters in diameter. Inside the nucleus, 37 meters below the estimated surface, a hollow chamber in a comet. The numbers don't lie. When the chamber opened at 7:23 UTC on December 19th, the ejection event lasted exactly 11 minutes. JWST recorded the entire sequence in near-infrared wavelengths. What the data shows has no analog in cometary science. First, the ejection velocity, 2.4 kilometers HOS. Standard cometary outgassing from sublimating ice, typically 0.5 to 0.8 kilometers per second. This was 3 times faster. To achieve that velocity with water ice sublimation alone, surface temperatures would need to exceed 320 Kelvin. The actual measured temperature at ejection site, 2013 degrees C, below water's freezing point. Pause and realize what this means. The energy required to accelerate that mass of material, estimated at 47 million kilograms based on infrared luminosity at that velocity, from that temperature regime demands a mechanism we can explain with sublimation physics. Now examine the spectroscopy. JWS NIR SPEC instrument analyzed the ejected material across 87 wavelength channels between 0.66 and 5.3 micrometers. The absorption features reveal molecular species that shouldn't coexist. Let me quantify this. Detection 1, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHS with 12 to 18 carbon ring structures, and these form in high temperature environments, stellar atmospheres, combustion processes, not inside frozen cometary nuclei at 2 out of 1 Kelvin. Detection 2, crystalline silicates with ordered lattice structures indicating formation temperatures above 900 Kelvin. For context, interstellar dust is amorphous disordered because it forms in cold molecular clouds. Crystalline silicates require thermal processing. Detection 3, metallic iron nanoparticles with mean diameter of 73 nanomi. Metallic, not oxidized, not bound in mineral matrices, pure metallic iron. In COMET, ESA's XMM Newton X-ray Observatory independently confirmed the iron signature through fluorescent spectroscopy at 6.4 kilo electron volts. The characteristic emission line of neutral iron atoms cross-reference with Chandra X-ray Observatory data. Same result. The composition profile matches nothing in our solar system comet database. Over 4,200 comets cataloged since 1758. None exhibit this combination, but it gets stranger. The particle size distribution measured through light scattering polarimetry by the European Southern Observatory S for very large telescopes showed a biodal distribution to distinct populations. Small particles averaging 1.3 micrometers, large particles averaging 840 micrometers. Natural fragmentation processes produce power law distributions, a continuous range of sizes from small to large. This showed two discrete peaks, like someone sorted the particles by size. When astrophysicists at MIT's Kabi Institute ran the spectroscopic data through thermodynamic equilibrium models, the results indicated formation conditions incompatible with cometary environments. The PIS require high temperatures. The crystalline silicates require high temperatures. The metallic ion requires oxygen-depleted reducing environments. All three conditions in the same source region inside a frozen comet nucleus. The statistical likelihood of these conditions occurring naturally. The MIT team calculated 17%. That's 1 in 58,000 across all known astrophysical formation scenarios. Even Abby Loeb, who chairs Harvard's astronomy department and has studied over 300 cometary nuclei, said in an interview at 22:14 UTC on December 19th that the composition challenges our understanding of interstellar object formation mechanisms. When someone at that level uses the word challenges, when Harvard publishes cautionary language like that, we need to pay very close attention. Now let's discuss the chamber geometry. ALMA's radio occultation data revealed the void's three-dimensional structure through signal delay measurements as 3 Atlas rotated. The cavity isn't spherical. It's not an irregular fracture network. It's an oblate spheroid. Polar diameter 290 members. Equatorial diameter 340 members. Axial ratio 0.85. That's geometric definition. That's shape consistency across multiple measurement passes. Natural voids in cometary ice formed by sublimation or thermal stress exhibit irregular morphology, branching structures, asymmetric collapse zones. This has symmetry. The chamber walls inferred from density gradient analysis show thickness uniformity within 8% variation. 8% across a 3,000 meter structure formed in a tumbling sublevating radiation bombarded object traveling through interstellar space for potentially millions of years. Think about it this way. If you froze a lake, let it tumble through space for 1,000,000 years while cosmic rays bombarded it and internal ice sublimated, would you expect to find a symmetric 300-meter cavity with 8% wall thickness uniformity? From a structural engineering perspective, that implies stress distribution optimization. That implies design consideration. This should not exist, but here's what keeps astrophysicists awake. The chamber opened, past tense, meaning it was previously sealed. Sealed well enough that no prior observation, not Hubble, not JWST, not ground-based interferometry, detected its presence. What kind of seal maintains structural integrity inside a common nucleus across interstellar distances, and what triggered it to open on December 19th, 2025 at precisely 7:23 UTC? Everything I've shown you, the 7 anomalies, the impossible composition, the geometric cavity, the ejection energetics, all documented by December 19th, 2025, 1834 UTC. But we're not done, because 4 hours ago at 14:51 UTC today, JWSC's NICAM instrument detected something else in the ejected particle cloud. Something not in any prior spectroscopic analysis. Something that wasn't supposed to be there. Amino acids, not just any amino acids, L-isomers. Left-handed molecular chirality, the same-handedness that dominates biological chemistry on Earth. Let me put this in perspective. When amino acids form through non-biological processes like in the Miller-Urey experiment or in meteorite chemistry, you get racemic mixtures. 50% left-handed, 50% right-handed, equal distribution. That's thermodynamic equilibrium. The particles from 3IAS, 87%, Lis isomers, 13% disomers, and that's biological selectivity. NASA's Astrobiology Institute confirmed the detection at 16:23 UTC using independent analysis of JWS raw data. They ran the spectroscopy through 3 different molecular databases: NIST-JPL's Spectral Catalog, ESA's Molecular Reference Library. All 3 confirmed homochiral amino acid excess. Within 2 hours of that confirmation, NASA's Planetary Science Division did something unprecedented. They classified the full NRCam dataset as pending peer review and restricted access to credentialed researchers only. Not classified, not secret, just gated. In 34 years of JWST precursor missions and 3 years of JWST operations, that's happened twice. Once for a potential biosignature on K2 18 bytes, once for unusual isotopic ratios in Enceladus plume samples. Now for 3I Atlas, that alone tells you the magnitude of what we're dealing with. If this is natural, if some unknown astrochemical pathway can produce homosyl amino acids in interstellar environments, and then we've just discovered a new formation mechanism that rewrites origin of life models. Every textbook chapter on prebiotic chemistry becomes incomplete. If this is not natural, if this represents preserved biological material from an extrasolar or biosphere, then we are reyoking at the first confirmed evidence of life beyond Earth. Not potential, not suggestive, confirmed through spectroscopy. But here's what the data doesn't explain. The amino acids weren't on the surface. They weren't in the coma. They were inside the sealed chamber, shielded from stellar radiation, shielded from cosmic rays, shielded from photodissociation. For however long, 3I Atlas has been traveling through interstellar space. Minimum travel time from the nearest star system, Proxima Centauri, 424 light years away at 34.7 kilometers SS. 37,000 years. Those amino acids survived 37,000 years in interstellar space. Minimum protected by a sealed cavity with geometric regularity and 8% wall thickness uniformity. And then the chamber opened 12 hours after a coherent radio pulse and 11 hours after a thermal spike. Right when 3I Atlas reached a heliocentric distance of 1.8383 astronomical units just outside Mars's orbit. And think about the timing. The question that every astronomer is asking right now, the question that NASA asked December 19th internal memo, carefully avoids stating directly is this. Did the chamber open because of internal pressure from sublimating ice, or did something trigger it to open? There is no middle ground. One of those is true. Let's establish what we know with absolute certainty. On December 19, 2025, at 7:23 UTC, a cavity opened inside 3I Atlas, an interstellar object traveling through our solar system at 34.7 kilometers s. The cavity measures 340 meters in diameter with geometric symmetry and uniform wall thickness. The ejected material contains polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, crystalline silicates, metallic iron nanoparticles, and homocyamino acids, a combination with 0.017% probability of natural co-formation. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office issued internal advisories. NASA's Astrobiology Institute confirmed biological chirality. JWST data access was restricted within 2 hours. These are not theories. These are documented observations from instruments that don't speculate. Spectrometers measure wavelengths. Interferometers measure structures. Computers calculate probabilities. The data is unambiguous, but one question remains unanswered. One question that every telescope pointed at 3 Atlas is now investigating. One question that will define the next decade of astrophysics. What is inside the chamber now? Because the ejection event lasted 11 minutes. The material we've analyzed, the amino acids, the crystalline silicates, the metallic nanoparticles, that's what came out. But ALMA's density measurements showed the cavity still exists, still hollow, still 340 meters in diameter. If the chamber was a sealed reservoir that ruptured and emptied, the density should have equalized. The void should have collapsed or filled with sublimated ice. It didn't. And the cavity is still there, still open, still structurally intact, which means either the chamber is empty now, a hollow space inside an interstellar comet serving no function, or something remains inside that AMA's radio waves can't resolve. Something with the same density as the surrounding ice matrix, something that doesn't scatter radio frequencies, something that's still there. And the answer determines everything. If this is a natural void formed by some exotic sublimation process we've never seen, then 3I Atlas is an astronomical curiosity, fascinating, publishable, a footnote in commentary science textbooks. If this is a preserved sample capsule, biological materials shielded during interstellar travel and released when triggered by proximity to a star system, then we've just witnessed the first confirmed detection of extraterrestrial life, not microbial fossils and meteorites, not ambiguous phosphine in Venus's atmosphere, direct molecular verified. And if this is something else, if that cavity serves a function we haven't imagined, if the geometric regularity implies design, if the opening mechanism responds to external triggers, then the implications extend beyond biology into engineering, into intention. There is no middle ground. One of these is our reality, and the clock is running. And right now, as you watch this, JWST is collecting spectroscopic data every 4.7 hours. ALMA is measuring cavity density every 8 hours. ESA's Gaia is tracking particle dispersion every 12 hours. NASA's Deep Space Network is monitoring radio emissions continuously. Every instrument is pointed, every detector is live, every data stream is active. In 73 hours 3, ISIS will reach perihelion, a closest approach to the Sun at 1.71 astronomical units. Solar flux will increase by 11%. Surface temperatures will rise if there's going to be another ejection event, another chamber opening, another release of impossible chemistry. It will happen. Then the instruments are recording, the teams are analyzing, and whatever 3 Atlas truly is, natural anomaly, biological archive, or something we don't have words for yet, we're about to find out.